Hello and welcome to the Real Estate, Fitness, and Nutrition Podcast. I am your host, Heather Ford.
And I am Chuck Ford, and we are the Constantly Varied YouTube channel. And we're super excited to have you with us today.
This podcast is about what we do best, real estate, fitness, and nutrition. Today's show, we are going to be telling you about our real estate journey.
Right, and how we got started in it and kind of what values we place on it to kind of ground our business. And then a couple ideas of what we're kind of hoping to do in the future. Mm-hmm. So I guess to get started, I could tell you about my journey in real estate, which started quite a bit sooner than yours.
A few years earlier than we did together.
So back in 2008, I was coming off a job that had ended and wanted to get into real estate. So I got my Nebraska license and I began to sell real estate in 2008, which, as you know, is not the greatest time to sell real estate in Nebraska or anywhere. For
anywhere. Write this down. Watch the movie The Big Short. It is about when the bubble burst, if you're not familiar with what was happening when the stock market crashed.
And I got started. I did really well. I was just shy. I was only about 6 or 8 months in the year that for selling, and I was like within one transaction of being rookie of the year for the brokerage that I worked at.
It's pretty good.
Yep, it was really good. But then things started to slide, and as you see within The Big Short, things changed, and I had 3 kids at the time, 3 young kids, and we had to keep food on the table, so it was just best if I.
So basically, you couldn't get
right. The income was not steady enough. Mm-hmm. I didn't have enough in the bank to keep going. So I resorted back to a full-time job, and that's when I got the job at the VA. So it all kind of worked out because that's where I met Heather. But I worked at the VA for about 10 years. Was able to retire in 2019. Semi-retire.
Kind of retire.
Kind of retire. And so a couple years ago, we were sitting thinking, hey, what can we do to get Heather the freedom that she needs? Mm-hmm. And you tell us a little, what was going on at that point in time?
So I had been working for the VA for, when I left, it had been nearly 14 years. So working for the Department of Veterans Affairs was a very rewarding job, but very stressful job. And there's a lot of expectations of you. It's a 9-to-5 job, 9-to-5 plus, because since about 2009, we've had some form of mandatory overtime for almost all those years since that time. So I wasn't only working 40 hours a week, I was working 50 or more a week just to get in that overtime that was required, just because we have such a backlog of cases and veterans' needs are so high. The demand to get work done was just astronomical. So that was one thing. I was stuck at a desk every day doing work that was rewarding but highly skilled and stressful, and I knew that I needed something that gave me more freedom and flexibility, not only to just be a happier person in life, but just to spend more time with my family, focus more on my kids, focus more on my passions. And one of those things was CrossFit and coaching. And so Chuck had come up with the idea, hey, why don't you get your real estate license and we get it, and I'll get mine renewed too, and we'll do real estate together.
Also during that time, she kind of missed the point that COVID hit. Yeah. So you were stuck at home, and
we were all stuck at home, all 4 of us in this house while I was trying to work.
And even though getting to work at home was a bonus for some people, it did put some more demands on you. You needed the freedom during the day to take care of your children, take care of me, take care of yourself, to do coaching, because you were now coaching online.
We were coaching on Zoom for a while.
So there was a need to have the flexibility. So
absolutely. So it was a really cool idea, and it didn't take us long to jump on it.
Yeah, not the first time you heard that either, was it? About getting into
I don't think so.
Real estate.
I just always, it was never something that I thought was really achievable.
Well, didn't you think though?
Oh, yeah.
In college?
Yeah. Yes. In college, my senior year, my advisor, Dr. Batterson, Bruce Batterson. Isn't that a good name?
Yeah.
He suggested that I get my real estate license. I was a business major, and he thought that real estate would be a good fit for me. I didn't pursue it because of the additional education that you have to take. And I just, at that point, I wasn't interested in it, having to spend more time and money on education. So I could have pursued real estate a lot sooner, but I think it's funny that it was where I ended up anyway.
So back to getting our license together, it was around August 2010. And
2020.
2020. 2010 is when I got out. It was when I started the VA. 2020. So it was 10 years. It was actually, I never thought of that. It was exactly 10 years after I started with the VA that I got back into real estate.
Right.
So we started studying for the test, and we ended up taking the test in October.
Yes.
So it was just a couple months.
Yeah.
And you had to complete the courses.
Yeah, I had to do more. You only had to take like one course.
Yeah, because my credits carried over, but my license did not. So I
Right.
still had to retest for the license.
So I had to take 60 hours of education.
And I had nothing to do all day but study, so
You just studied.
I took the courses essentially, just
Yeah.
not for credit. Didn't pay for the credit, but I took the courses
Yeah.
again. And we went and took the test, and we both passed.
Yeah.
Which is kind of...
We did take a test prep course
most
too.
people do, so.
Yeah, and that helped a lot. If you're thinking about getting your license, take the prep course. It's beneficial for sure.
So we got our license in October, and I think we sold our first house next month.
Yeah.
The following month,
The-
which was fortunate.
We were very fortunate because my aunt and uncle had decided they wanted to move back to Nebraska from Las Vegas. So they were our first clients, and they put their trust in us, and that was amazing. So we had a deal right away. We were looking for houses for them, and
We showed them one house.
we showed them one house that my mom found for sale because it's on their street.
So her mom found the place. We showed them one house, and they didn't
Via
come
Zoom.
to it
Yeah,
via Zoom
or FaceTime.
FaceTime. We walked them through the house virtually, and they wanted to put in an offer, and we won the offer.
We won the offer. Yeah.
So in that time, so we thought real estate was
I thought, if all deals are like this, man, why doesn't everybody do real estate?
so, which was good that we got a good one under our belt, and it wasn't, and it was so fast. I mean, it was within a month that we started, and we had our first deal going, and then we actually had another one
Pretty soon
started
after that. Yeah.
before the end of the year.
Yeah. The thing about real estate is that one of my favorite phrases that you taught me from someone that you follow online is don't be a secret agent.
Right.
You want to tell everybody, hey, I'm getting into real estate, because real estate is built on relationships, and that's something that we'll continue to talk about throughout this episode. It's you end up working with people first because they already know you and they already trust you, or theoretically they already trust you, and then it builds on from there. So you let everybody that you know be your real estate agent, and it's not that you're being pushy or anything like that. You want them to know.
Let them know. Yep. And you have to remind them. You need, I forget the number, 18 touches or 60 touches or something like that for it to become common knowledge to them, and to think of you when they're in the need of a realtor. So we got started off really good. I had quite a few transactions, and it was probably about this time, literally this time, around spring of 2022 that we thought 2022, because we're in 2022 right now.
Yeah.
So it was around spring of 2022 that we thought that's when we'll get Heather out of the VA.
I see what you're saying.
So,
Yeah.
But we just really hit the ground running with it, and so we brought out the Cortez's "Burn the Boats" quote and said, "Hey, let's just make this happen."
On our
Still is.
whiteboard, burn the boats. So you're not going to make a big scary move unless you get rid of that safety net. So that's what we did. We knew we were doing well. I knew that we could do this because it was already working. Because because of the way we work together, I think. So we decided that April was going to be the time that I leave the VA.
So put in your notice, and I know it was hard because you had also, a lot of experience there, and it's
There's a
great
lot
job.
that's invested in you, and then yourself that invests in that job. And I was knowledgeable in my job. I was okay. I was pretty decent at it, and short synopsis of what I did is I gave veterans who applied for disability related to their service, I decided their claims on if their disability was related to service and how severe it was, which equates to money, which it equates to a daily or to a monthly compensation.
That's what both of us did when I worked in the Lincoln Regional Office. That's what I did, and then I went on to teach that new people how to do that same job, and then you'd come out and work with me.
Yeah, I did training.
So, anyway, that's the VA times. But so we got started. We had a really great first year, over $5 million in sales.
Yep.
Which was really good.
It was pretty much right on what our goal was. We wanted, I think we said maybe like 24 transactions. So that's either a buy or sell side. And then I think we ended up with 20, maybe a little of 21 or 22. So we were really, really close to what we wanted our goal to be.
And we're off to a good start this year too. So we're getting there. But so one of the things that we had to do when we got started was come up with, what do we didn't want to just jump into it. I'm actually reading Built to Last now by Jim Collins, and it talks about being a clock maker and not just a time teller. So if you were able to tell time, like you could just walk up and say, it is 1:20 in the afternoon on March 10th, 2022. Just at any point in time, you'd be a great time teller. But wouldn't you be more productive if you knew how to build a clock that even years after you were gone could still tell the time? So that's what they're talking about. So these great companies build great companies, not great products or great services. So we wanted to build a great company. And one of the things we wanted to do with that was define our values, the things that we meant. So before we ever sold any real estate, we sat down and talked about our values. And I'm going to go through the values real quick, and then we can stop and talk about each one of them. But the values that are important to us, and not only in real estate, but what we do in life, is fun, to be fun, to have balance, attention to detail, to be customer oriented, to be genuine, to be leading edge / innovative, to walk with a win-win attitude, and to have an abundance mentality. So I think, and then those things come up. It's really odd. Those are written on our whiteboard downstairs in a corner. They've been written up there since we started. I don't look at them every day like I should, but it's amazing how many times those things come up in our lives, that we say, okay, this needs to be fun. We need to not be so stressed, and we need to do this, or how do we do this that's a win-win situation for everybody? And we talk about the abundance mentality a lot. So all of these, we're always on the leading edge and trying to be innovative, using new products that are out or starting, using social media and using YouTube in order to build our business in the long game. So anyway, let's go through them. And what does fun mean to you?
Fun means that we take our job seriously, because when our client is going through looking for buying a house or selling a house, that's a big deal.
It is.
To them.
It's usually the largest purchase somebody makes in their lifetime.
But it's not going to be, we want it to be as enjoyable, not only for us, but for our clients as well. So, I have always had a positive outlook on things. I know that, not every transaction is going to be smooth and we're going to have bumps here and there, but I know that we're going to be able to get through it. And at the end of the day, we're going to all be where we need to be, you know? So having fun just means that, okay, we're in for a bumpy ride, but it's like a roller coaster. A roller coaster is scary, it goes up and down, but at the end of the ride, you had fun, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we just keep a lighthearted outlook on everything, and yeah, so we just try to have fun in what we do, and with each other too,
Right.
because I can get a little bit serious sometimes about what we're doing, and you're usually there to like say, hey, it's okay, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we reverse roles, but it's usually you getting me out of my serious attitude. So what is that? Would you say that the fun
Yeah. Yep.
is something similar to you?
I think fun means about the same thing to me too. I mean, we go when we're with other people, we try to make the experience be entertaining to them, humor, but and we also do it professionally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're always
Yes.
professional, but we try to keep it lighthearted and entertaining,
Yeah.
and it's not, and try to. I think a lot of times when you are knowledgeable about what you're doing, that it is more fun.
Oh, yeah.
in a situation. If you can answer questions, roll with them, give them scenarios, and reassure them that what they're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing, I think that makes the whole atmosphere more enjoyable. And again, working with you is always fun. I mean, I can't imagine working with anybody else. So
Yeah.
that would be our fun part.
Hey, that's a good thing that you said, because the next part is balance. And balance is a funny word.
It is.
Because we were talking about this earlier. We have no work versus personal balance in our relationship. It's all mingled together because we're with each other almost all day, every day.
Yep.
And we work out together, we do business together, and we do life together. So it's not that we're never not going to talk about work at a certain time of day. We're never not going to be husband and wife at a certain time of day. Now, if you're with us, our clients, and we're together, it's not like we're holding hands or kissing or anything like that on a walkthrough. We wouldn't do that, of course, but so our roles are just kind of intertwined. Would you kind of say that? So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. There isn't any balance there. There's no, okay, we work half time in real estate and half time in life. No, it is all intermingled.
Yeah, this is our life.
Right. It's all part there. Now, I mean, there's times when, I have to tell you, no, Heather, we need to go work, not take a nap. And that's part of the fun part. So balance is important to us.
It's not
That's
fun
one of
for
the things.
me when I don't get a nap.
Attention to detail, that is a value that I brought with me that began in the military. When I was in the Navy, attention to detail was a big thing. It was carried over into other careers that I've had, like the golf course industry. I can remember driving around one of the first golf courses I worked with the superintendent and seeing a napkin or it was just a piece of trash blowing across the parking lot, and we chased it down in the golf cart to catch it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I mean, you can't let trash blow around. You've got to stop it. And he taught me, keep the shop clean, because if the shop is dirty, then that leaks out onto the golf course. So there's always that attention to detail to place, the tee markers the same distance apart. And we do that in real estate too, especially you. You're very good at the attention to detail to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and everything is in order. And we're still learning. I mean, it's an ongoing process, but that is one of the biggest things. Make sure that we are covering our bases and our clients' bases so that they have a seamless transaction, and that we're showing them everything we can and we're giving them all the information that we can.
Yeah.
That's the attention to detail that I see.
Right.
And then we're customer oriented.
Yeah.
I think it's
paying attention to the details is one thing, and then doing the right thing. That is how we're customer oriented. We make mistakes. We're very human people, but we try to learn from those mistakes. So, I just have a situation that we just came across where I didn't know something and it cost our clients some money. And it wasn't necessarily our fault, and it wasn't necessarily their fault either, but there were unintended consequences of that. And so we try to learn from our mistakes and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And being customer oriented, I'm going to give our clients the most information I can so they can make an informed decision. If you buy this $100,000 house, these are the things that you're going to get with that. But if you look at a $150,000 house, your payment's only going to go up this much, but you're getting that much more. So making sure that they are making the best decision possible with the different outcomes. And that comes with having experience and learning from you and other agents and just trying to do what's right.
I would agree with that, and I think the next value, being genuine, I think that kind of goes into it. I refuse to be a salesman. You cannot sell real estate to somebody. They have to want that. So our job is through attention to detail and being customer oriented,
building relationships
is to be genuine. And if they ask me an opinion, we give it to them. I mean, sometimes we may, smooth the edges out a little bit, but I'll tell you whether I think it's a good house or a bad house, and or why I think it's a good house.
If I would buy this house or not, if I were in their shoes or something like that.
And we're only a year and a half into it, but it's paid off. It just really pays off to be genuine with people, to tell them the truth, and to give them your knowledge and your feelings on
even
things.
If that means that we don't help them buy that house.
Right. Even if we don't help them buy a house at all. We've had multiple clients that we didn't get a sale, but we still helped them.
Yes.
We've had clients that we may have sold their house and had showed them a number of houses and properties before, but they found something for sale by owner, and that was fine.
Yeah.
It was because that's what that is a win-win situation, which is one of the values that we'll see here in a second. But excuse me, they got what they needed, a house.
Yeah.
And we kept our integrity and we're genuine and helped in other things.
We're never going to be so desperate to make a deal or get a transaction that we compromise our values. So that's just, I don't want to be that person. Even if I were that person, it meant that I can make tons and tons of more money. I don't want to be that person.
Our next value is leading edge / innovative. I think that's what we're doing right now. This is all new to us, but we're not going to quit on this. We're going to continue to do it, and we will deliver a product that is useful and helpful.
Trying to find different ways to help our clients or potential clients, and just also with the leading edge, we just took a continuing education class yesterday on leaks in a house. And it was really informative, and I learned things that I didn't know that maybe will help me, when we're looking at houses with our next buyer.
What else did we do? We did 2 CMAs yesterday, and we used 2 different products that when we started a year ago were not available to us, or we weren't aware of.
We weren't aware.
Right. So we've, learned new things and experimented, taken new things, and then we're combining them to get the best product possible out. So and your social media. So
I try to make social media posts we do primarily Instagram and Facebook. I've tried to get into the TikTok. Maybe you guys have seen my Celine Dion video, maybe not. It's pretty famous. It's about the only one on there. I have one other one, but that's it. But I try to make posts that just help you learn about us, give you tips on the things that we're talking about in this podcast, real estate, fitness, and nutrition.
Right.
Those are the areas that we know. So, and then I also try to have some fun, and like I'll share a funny meme or something like that. So just so that we're making touches and we're staying engaged with people in our sphere.
Right. The next one is win-win. There's not a whole lot to say on that. You have to do the right thing that's good for you and good for them.
Yes.
And you never want to do something that's good for you and not good for somebody else.
Right.
Because you won't last long.
No,
in
karma.
anything. Yep, karma. And you don't ever want something to be done that's good for them and not good for you.
Yeah. You won't last long that way.
You won't last long that way either. So we always work towards doing the right thing for us and our clients, for us and the clients on the other side, or the realtor on the other side.
And so, when we're working with sellers, that's getting them the highest price possible for their house.
Right. We call for sale by owners and we'll give them advice.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
It's good for them to sell their house, even if they don't want to use us. It's good for the market. It's good for
if I have a
buyers.
buyer, yeah.
Right.
Or, maybe there's a chance that they feel overwhelmed with the selling process and, they decide they want to actually list with me instead of trying to sell it on their own. So, we're just going to be as helpful to as many people as possible. And the universe will provide.
And the last value that we have written down here is abundance mentality.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Well, it means that there's enough out there for everybody. And we firmly believe that. I mean, there's 800 or 1,000 agents in Lincoln.
Probably getting up closer to 1,000.
Yeah. And it's not that big of a town, but there's plenty out there. There's always
The
enough
inventory
room.
is low right now, admittedly, but it doesn't mean that if you're working in the business actively, because not all those agents are actively working, but if you're actively working and then having all the values that we just talked about, then you're going to make it. You're going to be all right. So we're in competition with every other agent, even the ones in our brokerage in Lincoln, but we do not see them as competition. We're not in a fight with them.
Right, no.
We love.
There are some agents that are like that, though.
There are, and we love working with other agents. And there's a handful that I haven't had an opportunity to do a deal with, but maybe they put in an offer on our house, and I really hoped that I could work with them, just because there are some really amazing people out there and working. And when you get to work with another good agent, it's fun.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the things that we value in our business and in our life. But now let's switch gears and talk about what we do real estate wise. So what are our growth opportunities? So, and the first one that we just started working on recently, and we're actually getting our first mailing out, is a farming area. And for farming, how would you explain farming?
So farming is a marketing tactic. You pick an area that you want to get business in. And the area that we've picked it's not very big. It's a little over 400 homes, 430 I think. And it's an area where we've sold a few homes already. And so we've had some activity in there and we're familiar with the neighborhood. And so we decided to start farming that. And what that means is we're going to regularly send these people postcards, mailings, letters, maybe even coupons, or with some different things that we're working on. And so we're just going to be making touches to them so they know that we're experts in their neighborhood.
We want to put our convenience store in their neighborhood so that they don't have to go to another neighborhood to get gas or supplies or anything else.
an excellent way of putting
we
it.
want to be their neighborhood realtors.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop. So we're getting that going. That's one of the things. We talked a little bit about it, social media.
Yeah, social media. I did this really well. November, December, January. I had one post every day on social media.
And we're going to get back to that.
In February and so far this month in March, I haven't done as well because it takes time to plan ahead and also create the content for those posts because I want it to look a certain way. I don't want to just throw something against the wall, see if it'll stick. And so that's something that I'm continually working on. I'm the social media person on this team. So, and finding what works too. There are some posts that have gotten no activity.
Right. And that's just the way it is. I mean, which goes to our third point here, content creation, which is what we're just diving into, which will be kind of something I want to spearhead, but you're going to be the talent of it, most of it. So
he's behind the scenes. I'm in front of the camera.
She's the talent. But it's the same way there. You may put out, 20 or 30 or 50 videos or whatever, and it'll be that one that gets that triggers all the algorithms in YouTube and kind of puts you on the map. So, and that's where we're at right now. Is we're getting comfortable in front of the camera. We're making sure. I'm learning very basically how to use the editing software and then the process of putting things up, so that you can find us on YouTube at Constantly Varied. You can find us on Apple Podcasts soon.
It takes a couple weeks to get up on Apple Podcasts,
but we're on Google.
We're on Google
and Spotify.
Striker. No, what's that? Stitcher,
and Amazon. So we're on these.
We're on some of the major, for listening, and then of course we're recording this on the camera also, so you can watch us
on YouTube.
On YouTube also.
And we will have other content that will not be podcasts. That will be more of a vlog or instructional video coming down the road.
These first few episodes are really just who are we, So if someone's interested in working with us, they can pull us up on the internet and see what we're really like. And that's something that I think is going back to the innovative part. But I don't remember where I was going with that.
Well, one of the things we wanted to do is ask them if you have an idea, please reach out and say, hey, we're thinking about buying a house. We'd like to know about financing or what do we need to do before we go start looking for a house? What do we need to do? What eggs do we need to have in a row? Before.
Isn't it ducks in a row?
Yeah, ducks. Well, you gotta have eggs before you have ducks. So, anyway, that's our content creation.
So what questions do you have for us? Even if you're a past client of ours watching this, because we're gonna let you know that our episode's up when we get it, and hopefully you watch it. But do you wish you would have known more of, or that we would have shared, or that we did share with you that was really helpful?
Yep. So if you have questions, send them to us.
Or ideas.
Or ideas. So and again, we'll go over where to contact us again before we're done here. We're getting close. One of the last things we wanted to talk about was how we are going to go forward with business. What are we looking at? We want to talk about customer service and our focus on values. So that's kind of where we're going. We talked about the farming. We also have our sphere of influence. We're sending things out. We're making phone calls, and we want to get some new clients through social media and content creation.
Yeah, what kind of phone calls do we make? Let's talk about that for just a second.
Well, we don't make enough of them. If that's a type of phone call is not enough, that's one of our things. But we like to call our sphere and say, hey, we've been sending you some stuff. Have you been getting it? And usually it just starts off a conversation, which is really what we want, because it goes back to being customer oriented and being genuine. Yes. We're talking to people. I don't
want people to think about it as a sales call, because in our sphere of influence are people who are friends, family, anybody.
Past clients.
Anybody that knows us. maybe, you know, we're not best friends, but we're at least acquaintances. So anybody that knows us now is in our sphere of influence. And we like to call those people, not only because we like to talk to them, that's why you're in our sphere of influence, but because we want you to know, hey, you know, we're doing this real estate thing and we'd love to help you, or someone you know.
Right.
And
That's the key. That's the
That's
next
the
thing
key.
is the
That's the yes.
referrals. So, I mean, you may only buy a house two or three times. Yeah, once, 2 or 3 times in your whole lifetime. But you may know 2 or 3 people that may be looking for a house every year. So
Yeah.
if we can get those referrals, if we're on top of your mind and somebody says, man, I'm thinking about buying a house. Well, you know what? You should call Chuck and Heather Ford. They go to the gym with me, or you know, they play golf with us, or we ride
or I went to
bikes, or
college
we
with
went to
her.
college, or we used to work together. So that's our
Yeah, that's-
sphere of influence. And
That's what the most we can ask of you. You know, that's what we would love to see is if you're so inclined just to refer us.
Yep, give us an opportunity. And if you have questions, if anybody has questions about what the value of their house is in the Lincoln or surrounding area.
Yeah, that's a big thing of what we do is we can take a look at your house and do our
Market analysis.
market analysis, our magic number juju thing, and we can give you an idea of what it's going to sell for right now. Now, the market is a little bit crazy and houses are going for way over asking, so you might actually get more depending on the situation, but we can give you a really good idea.
We'll get you ballpark.
Yep.
So. All right, so that's kind of it for the day.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we stand in real
Yeah.
estate here in March 2022. So I guess going from here, again, let's go over those one more time. Where can they reach us on Facebook?
On Facebook, it's at the Ford Realtors.
Okay, at the Ford Realtors on Facebook, and then for Instagram,
Constantly Varied Living.
right? And there's a underscore
Yeah.
between each word, constantly
I
underscore.
think if you
varied
just
kind of
type
thing.
Constantly Varied Living in there, it'll come up with us. Yeah.
And then we have a website, our company website.
Yep. Brokerage website is I did it again.
Never even.
The1867collective.com.
And if they wanted to see you on TikTok,
I'm not public on TikTok.
we'll work on
yet.
that. Maybe next episode we'll get her on TikTok. So that's what we have for you today.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week. We're not sure what we're going to talk about next week, but we'll have it coming to you. And
Yeah, I don't know yet.
yeah,
Maybe nutrition.
maybe nutrition. That'd be a good
That'd
one.
be a good one.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
Do you think Brad hates us?